Thanks for joining us on TVC Media News. I am Sahid Arubisala. We'll begin with the fire outbreak at Surualaba after the Mile 2 bus-stop in Lagos State. A latest development from the scene says the fire, which raised a chemical company and a cold room storehouse, has been put under control by the Lagos State Emergency Management Agency. The Inferno, which reportedly started around 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, destroyed the facility and several properties worth millions of naira. Although no life was lost, emergency responders are still on ground this morning, putting out the residual smoke and assessing the level of damage. Senior reporter Ayomide Ajegbe is at the scene now and joins me on the news this hour. Ayomide, tell us about what the current situation is at that point where you are at this moment. All right, we'll try to get more from Ayomide on the ground at that incident ground at Surualaba.
Massive. The inferno here is not something that one will just take on the surface. This fire outbreak, we were told, started 7:30 last night, and the fire went all through the night. Now, if you take a look at from my right, you can see this is a chemical company. This fire raged and destroyed several properties here. This is in total disarray. The inferno was so much that it went through this old facility, went to the back, and then there is a fence that is barricading this company and another company on my left here. Now, this other company here is a cooling company. It's a cold room. If you see, I'm telling my cameraman to pan straight down. If you could, I don't know if they are able to get that, but there are fishes stocked in there in this cold room that is already down. Now, this is millions of naira property worth. Emergency respondents have been here and they are already doing their beats, but the level of damage here is much. As of now, we cannot ascertain what caused this fire outbreak, but what I can tell you right now is that the fire has been put out. The smoke is still very much here, and the damage is a lot from this standpoint.
All right, Ayomide, from what you've been able to gather, that chemical company and the cold room storehouse, were there people on ground, perhaps at the various duty posts at the time that fire started yesterday?
But if I heard you correctly, you're asking whether there are people on ground here. Yes, this fire started when workers are already done with the day's activity. So there is not a lot of people here to scavenge or to rescue properties when the fire started. So the fire happened when workers are already out of the premises. And of course, it is just the security persons that were here who are guarding the company that were here when the fire happened. Now, the length of that fire, the carnage, the inferno, was so much that all through this environment, Alaba Suru, Mile 12, everywhere could, Mile 2 rather, could feel that this fire is so much. As you can see, a lot of emergency responders are still around trying to ensure that things are put in place and everything is the whole environment is scaled off. Now, outside the fence there are persons who are there still waiting to see what becomes of this carnage.
All right, since you mentioned that one of the affected building there is a chemical company, and I'm also wondering what sort of chemical has been produced at that particular company, and of course, how long it will take the emergency responder to clear that ground and of course be able to ensure that it is safe to an extent, looking at the substance at that very company.
Sympathizers are here because, of course, this is a company that is in a residential area. You can see the ground here. Everywhere is still reeling of what they have been able to use to get rid of the fire. LASEMA told us that a lot is at stake in this building, and the properties here cannot be substantiated at the moment. But the cause of this fire is still yet to be known because, of course, there were still workers here till last night. And if you recall, this is not the first, second, or third fire outbreak since Utah, and it's still disturbing at this time.
One too many instances of fire incidents right there. Ayomide Ajayegbe reporting for us from Suru-Alaba, venue of the location where we have a fire outbreak which raised the chemical company and a cold room storehouse. Thank you so much, Ayomide. Please do stay safe.